Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on Game 7 of the Pro League match between MBC and CJ. This is the playoffs round 2, and this is the ace match. The winner of this will go through to the finals to face KlazartSC OZ, so a lot riding on this match, and this is going to be C Shield versus CJ Darkelf. So it's interesting that CJ have sent Darkelf out for this ace match. Typically Savior would be their ace, and just to check up on the positions of the players here, it looks like C is in the 12 o'clock position playing yellow, and Darkelf is at the 9 o'clock position playing red. So this is, after all, Python. I think it's fitting to have a map like Python being played in the ace match, one of my favorite maps of all time, and I'm looking forward to a great matchup on this map. I'm surprised, as I said, that they haven't sent Savior out to play this ace match, although it might turn out to be a masterstroke, because typically Savior has been the ace match player for CJ, and considering this is Python, a map that he's quite strong on, I'm sure MBC were probably expecting to come up against Savior in this matchup and might very well have prepared a specific strategy to take him out. And therefore, by throwing Darkelf into the mix, the CJ coach might very well have pulled a masterstroke off and caught MBC by surprise. And it's a question of seeing whether C can adapt to the situation. I'm sure he's good enough a player to be able to do that. The other thing is, of course, C would have been practicing a lot for his practicing his versus Zerg a lot. So that would be the other factor to consider, that perhaps he isn't practicing his versus Terran a lot, considering his OSL group includes both Savior and Jaedong, but it'll be interesting to see how he copes with Darkelf. I'm looking forward to watching C play, because he's a player who was rumored to be one of the great upcoming Terran players, but he never really seemed to match that potential. Flash seems to have done a lot more than C in that respect, in my opinion, and C seems to sending his SCV out without building a barracks first. And C, actually, interesting enough, is building his barracks just down from his ramp, so that's an interesting position to build your barracks in. Darkelf going for a more standard positioning of the barracks, and Darkelf taking his extractor as well. So both players starting off with a pretty standard tech build. Both players putting down the barracks and taking the extractor, though C positioning that barracks down the ramp. I'm not sure why he's done that. I'm sure it'll become apparent in time. But as I was saying, I'm looking forward to seeing what C can produce in this game, even though it is a Terran versus Terran matchup. I think it'll be interesting to see, and Darkelf sending that SCV out, looks like he's sending it out to scout, so it'll be interesting to see which direction he scouts in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing C play. Maybe this will be an indication of how he's going to be playing in the OSL, and certainly that's important, considering that Savior is going to need to beat him if he wants to progress to the next round. I think perhaps they've just decided to let Savior focus on his preparation for the OSL and take the pressure off him. But Jesus, for Darkelf to be put in this position, it's tough, and to have the onus upon you for your entire team. But it looks like both players with very similar strategies. Darkelf's scouting seems to be a little bit haywire to me. He's gone cross-map to scout with his SCV, and that's a bit weird. If he sees his SCV coming from C, though, that might be rectified, because he might see which direction it's coming in. But it looks like they've actually missed each other just looking at the minimap, and it does look like Darkelf did not see C's SCV, and I don't think C saw it either. So Darkelf, having scouted across the map in the 3 o'clock position, is now going south to the 6 o'clock position, and is really delaying the scouting info that he's going to get. And that's, I have to say, that's quite poor by Darkelf. Darkelf now starting up his factory. I suspect C would probably be doing the same. This is Python, but there are lots of different builds that Terran players can go for. We've seen 2 facts with 2 machine shops. We've seen 1 fact into starport. We've seen so many different builds. We've seen fast expands. Pretty much anything goes on this. C, having pushed his first marine out towards the 9 o'clock position, since he didn't find anything at 3 o'clock, does find Darkelf's base. So Darkelf is going to have an idea on himself as well where C is. But really, he really messed that scout up, in my opinion. He would have been able to get a scout up and see exactly what C was up to. Darkelf going straight away for, and he's actually started the starport up. So this is interesting. Darkelf going for the starport, and C has gone for the command center. So this might be bad for C, because he's gone for the command center. And if Darkelf can get an early push in here, C might find it very difficult to defend. He's only got the 1 factory. He hasn't even got a machine shop. Darkelf has already started his machine shop, and C might find it a little bit difficult to defend here. At the very least, he's being vultures, and this is ridiculous. See, oh my god, Darkelf has just pulled his marines away from his ramp. He just pulled his 3 marines away from his ramp, probably trying to ward off that SCV earlier, but as a consequence of this, C's SCV has run right into Darkelf's base, and C has seen that starport, so that's going to give C, I thought if C had been caught by surprise by that, I think he would have stood a chance in this game, but now he's seen that SCV, he knows what's coming, he might actually be able to cope with this attack from Darkelf. Just as I was saying that I was thinking he was going to have a very difficult time of it, he straight away started his machine shop, realizing that he needs to get a tank out. He's going to have to get some anti-air out as well, considering that he's invested resources, he's got a vulture out as well, and considering he's invested resources in that command center, I think C might be in a little bit of trouble here, even though Darkelf has given his game away. Darkelf straight away producing that raid, not deciding to get the control tower, realizing that, you know, he needs to do something now. C putting the second factory, and I suspect we'll see an armory go down pretty soon as well for him. He's also decided to try and block off the entrance to his main by putting that barracks down, and Darkelf pushing out with a tank and 4 marines. C hasn't got a siege tank. He's not researching anything in his machine shop yet. He's only got a vulture culture. So it's crucial for Darkelf to protect this first tank. If that Wraith will obviously prove crucial, but those Marines really are a lifeline for C. And I think C needs to be pumping those Marines, maybe building a bunker or something. He's got to be expecting an attack coming, and I'm surprised not seeing him building a bunker. I guess he just doesn't have the resource for it. He's got his tank out as well, but he's going to be way behind in siege tech. The Wraith now coming out for Darkelf, and Darkelf going with 4 Marines and a couple of SCVs along with his tank, and the Wraith first. So this is going to be interesting. I think he's going to try and take out those Marines, and then he realizes that his Wraith is going to have free reign. C has got his tank out to defend. He's getting that second factory up. I haven't seen an armory for C yet, so that's going to be critical. And really, Darkelf may have thrown this game, but it's impossible to say. Darkelf has got 2 tanks, C's once. He's got more SCVs. He's got to pull these SCVs off the line. That's going to hurt his economy a little bit. Darkelf going in. Darkelf with the advantage of the siege mode, and C is going to be forced to push forward. This C is really committing everything here. He's committing about 6 to 7 SCVs. He's lost most of his Marines already, so that Wraith is going to come into play. C's got his second tank out. The first tank goes down, and brilliant by Darkelf. He's been repairing both the siege tanks, and with the advantage of the siege mode, looks like Darkelf has taken a very strong position here because he's got all of his Marines. He might have lost the SCVs, but he's got all of his Marines. He's got a siege tank, and it looks like CJ in a very commanding position here, especially because C has invested so many resources in that command center. C is in huge trouble here, despite having been forewarned of Darkelf's build. He's going to find it very difficult to cope with. He's got that Goliath out now as well, so that's going to counter the Wraith. But I don't think it's going to bother C too much because he's got another siege tank. He's got another Wraith out as well. He's focused that Goliath down. Once that Goliath goes down, that's it. This is going to be GG. Looks like CJ are going to take the game. CJ cheering their player on. Brilliant play by Darkelf. He looks like he's pulled out the win despite his strategy having been revealed. And you've got to say that it was a bit, I'd say, careless of C to go for that command center. I guess he felt. I guess the Wraith really made the Wraiths really made the difference. Not only in the fact that they were basically. C had nothing to actually hit them with until his Goliath popped out because he lost his Marines very early on in that fight, but also the fact that they allowed the siege tanks to have much greater visibility and range and therefore hit his opponent where it hurt the most, and now he's just focusing on producing Goliath, and really this game is slipping away from C. I don't think he can come back in this game. I don't think this game has really been a judge of C's play per se, but I would have to say his decision to go for that fast expand command center without actually having any idea what his opponent was doing was a little bit risky, and fortunately for C, his build played right into the hands of his opponent. He really couldn't have gone for a much worse build considering what his opponent was building, and I guess you could say Darkelf played well and CJ absolutely ecstatic. Savior the first among them to congratulate his teammate. But you could say that the builds played a huge part in deciding the outcome of this matchup. Probably luck played a huge part in deciding the outcome of this matchup. But nevertheless, nothing to be taken away from Darkelf. He played a good game. Unfortunate for C and for MBC, after a thrilling series where it went right down to the wire with 3 matches apiece, to see the game decided in this manner. And I'm sure BC was going to be incredibly disappointed. And C, I think, just falling to pieces there, just doesn't know what to do, and you gotta feel sorry for him. But I hope you guys enjoyed that game. It was quite exciting, if a little anticlimactic, but we will be seeing CJ and hopefully Savior again in the next round versus Licap OZ, and this is Klazart, guys. Thanks for listening.